Hey everyone, so this is the second part to my reflection video. Now, this video is going to be about my personal experience. I'm going to be talking about things that I liked, enjoyed, and some things that I didn't like. Now, first off, I'd like to say that my friends made my experience as memorable as it was. So, friends are really important in Korea, especially if you're living in a foreign country and you don't really know anyone there. So friends made it all that much better. Fortunately for myself, my closest friends from Korea, they also live in Toronto. So when they get back from Korea, because they decide to teach for another year, I'm gonna still keep in touch and still go out, hang out with them, and yeah, and by chance that we just clicked. Just because you're from the same city as someone doesn't mean you're gonna click with them all that well, right? So I was really fortunate that one, they're from Toronto as well, and two, that we really clicked. Now, my suggestion is if you're going to Korea for the EPIK program, you should go to orientation, because that's where I met all my friends, all my close friends. And if not, then go with a friend, because being lonely in a foreign country is not fun at all. I've had some days where I felt like that, but at the end of the day, because of my friends, I felt a lot better. So friends are really important. Another thing is, if you learn Korean, or if you become more accepting, or if you learn about their culture, you'll find that you'll have an easier time in Korea with your daily life, in terms of teaching, getting around, just stuff like that. I find that because if you're able to learn or show that you're willing to learn about their culture, they'll become more accepting of you. Just because I went there to teach English, it doesn't mean that I'm also there to kind of instill North American values or traditions on them, as well as a lot of native English speakers believe. I'm from America, so we're like the best country, so I'm gonna get them to think like like Americans and stuff. No, I mean, like, you're only there to teach them the language, so yeah, ultimately you can't really just expect them to change just because you're teaching them English. So I find that if you become more accepting of their culture, and you learn more about their culture or language and culture, then it really helps. Speaking of which, a friend of mine, she went to a local university to learn Korean at night, so that's where she learned Korean from, and her Korean's good. She continues to learn Korean even now, and yeah. But as for myself, the way I learned Korean was I bought myself a guidebook, or a Korean book. It's Korean Made Easy, and it's really easy. It's as the book says, Korean Made Easy, and that was really helpful. So usually what I did was I would study Korean at school, just because I had a lot of free time in the afternoon, especially after lesson planning. So I only had 22 classes a week, which would be all done by in the morning, and in the afternoon I would study Korean and lesson plan, and yeah. So that was for the first semester. The second semester I used this book. It's called Practical Korean, Basic 2. Now this is the second book to a 2-part basic series. Now, I started off with this book first, just because at the time when I wanted to buy a self-study book, they didn't have the Practical Korean book, so I started off with that one first, and then I went on to the Practical Korean. The Practical Korean book, I'd say this one is a bit better if you plan on buying the first and second book. Not to say that you can't do it the way that I did, but it's more consistent that way. So yeah, I think those are really good books. So for those of you who are interested in learning Korean, pick those two books up. And also, it's kind of interesting to say that, you know, I know another language. And yeah, another thing that I do like, or one thing that I like about Korea is entertainment is cheap. So I'm saying if you're gonna go watch a movie, go bowling, do anything like play pool, drink, go clubbing, it's fairly cheap, especially alcohol. Alcohol is super cheap. Beer and soju, they're all like $1 or $2 a bottle. Soju is like it's kind of like Korean vodka, but it's only 20%, but it hits you hard. So yeah, that's another thing that I like about Korea, is that everything's really cheap there. Now, speaking of things that I do like, onto things that I don't like. So things that I don't like, well, there aren't things that I don't like. There's just mainly one thing, is that I've grown too accustomed to North American culture. I mean, I've lived in Canada for my whole life. I was born and raised here, and things are just totally different. So initially when I got there, I was just like, oh, how come they didn't have it this way or this way, you know, stuff like that. But then you have to kind of realize that you're going to their country, and you know, you're not really there to instill your values. You're just there to teach them English. That's pretty much as far as it goes. But I did say, like, once I learned Korean, things started making more sense. People were friendlier, and yeah, I just had a better time. So all in all, I had a really good time, really good experience and time in Korea. Now, I wouldn't suggest that this is for everyone. It's just I'm the type to have a really open mind and just kind of explore. I'm pretty adventurous, so I like going out. I like traveling, and I like learning about new cultures and customs and etc. So whether this is for you specifically, I can't say, because, you know, everyone's different. But if you think you're that type, then, you know, I would suggest it. It's just, Korea is a very life-changing experience for myself. Alright, so that's kind of my reflection video. If any of you have questions or comments, yeah, feel free to email me or message me. My email is listed in my channel page. So yeah. Anyways, I had a good run in Korea, and I hope you enjoy my next few videos of my next few slideshow videos. Alright, bye.